The galaxy had been at war for 3 decades. Sergeant Liam Carter stood among his fellow soldiers as the Terran Alliance general handed out rewards for their bravery during the final assault on the Zentari homeworld. The victory had been costly, but humanity had prevailed. Liam wiped sweat from his brow as the scorching twin suns beat down on the assembly ground. His unit had breached the central defense grid, allowing the main forces to capture the Zentari capital. The general approached him with a solemn expression. "She will be your reward, Sergeant Carter," the general announced, gesturing to a slender figure being led forward. For exceptional service to humanity, Liam stared in confusion as guards brought forward a tall, elegant alien woman. Her skin was pale blue with faint patterns resembling star constellations. Her eyes, large and entirely silver without pupils, seemed to hold the vastness of space within them. Zentari females were rarely seen outside their sacred temples. Liam frowned. "This isn't right, sir," he said firmly. The general raised an eyebrow. "These creatures enslaved human colonies for generations, Sergeant. They deserve the same treatment. Besides, most of your comrades seem pleased with similar arrangements." Liam glanced around, seeing several soldiers already leading away their new possessions with disturbing eagerness. His jaw tightened. "This isn't what I fought for." The alien woman kept her eyes downcast as protocol demanded, but Liam noticed her shoulders tense slightly at his words. "Take her or not?" The general shrugged. "She is yours by right. The processing center will assign you quarters suitable for 2. Later that evening, Liam entered the small, prefabricated housing unit assigned to victorious human soldiers. The alien woman followed silently several paces behind as she'd been instructed. "My name is Liam," he said after the door closed. "What do they call you?" She hesitated before answering in a voice like wind through crystal. Her language translator, embedded beneath her collarbone, glowed faintly as she spoke. "I am Nara, third daughter of House Vashir." Not anymore. Liam thought sadly, knowing her noble house had likely been decimated in the final assault. "Nara, you don't need to be afraid," Liam said, placing his weapon carefully in the storage unit. "I have no intention of treating you as a slave or possession." She tilted her head slightly, her silver eyes studying him warily. "Your military awards you with living trophies, and you reject this honor." While Liam sat heavily on the room's single chair, running a hand through his short brown hair. "I joined the military to protect Earth after the Zentari raids on our outer colonies. I wanted to prevent more deaths, not participate in creating a new slave." Class Nara remained standing, her posture still formal. "You appear sincere human, but many of your kind speak of mercy while their actions show dominance. You're right to be suspicious," Liam acknowledged. "But I'm serious, this arrangement wasn't my choice." He gestured to the small sleeping quarters. "This place has 1 bed, you take it. He'll use the floor." Nara blinked her silver eyes rapidly. The gesture reminded Liam of stars twinkling in the night sky. "You would surrender comfort to a defeated enemy. It's not surrender, it's basic decency," Liam replied. "I'm going to request a transfer back to Earth once the occupation stabilizes. You can come with me until we figure out a better situation." Days passed in uneasy coexistence. Liam maintained his distance, trying to show through actions what his words had promised. Nara gradually began speaking more, though she remained cautious. The Provisional Military Government announced plans to establish permanent human settlements on the conquered Zentari worlds one evening. Liam returned to find Nara studying his family photographs. The images showed a smiling woman with honey blonde hair standing beside a younger version of Liam. "Your mate Nara?" asked. "My sister," Liam corrected. "Amy lives in a place called Colorado. She teaches children about stars and planets." Nara touched the image gently. "I was to be a celestial navigator before the war. Our peoples share this love of stars, yet fought beneath them for so long. It doesn't make sense, does it?" Liam agreed. How did the war actually start from Earth's perspective? The Zentari attacked without provocation. But I've always wondered if that was the whole truth. Nara was quiet for so long, Liam thought she might not answer. Then she spoke softly. "Our Sovereign Council received transmissions showing human ships destroying our sacred seed ships. The seed ships carried our future generations in stasis. We responded with fury." Liam frowned. but we have no record of encountering seed ships before the war. The first contact. Between our species was the Zentari attack on Neptune Station. They studied each other, both realizing the implications. A third party had manipulated both civilizations, engineering a conflict that neither truly started. The next morning, Liam contacted his old friend Kate Morgan, a communications specialist he trusted. She met him at the edge of the military compound where they could speak away from monitoring devices. "You look troubled," Kate said, studying his face carefully. "I need to ask you something about the war," Liam replied. "Something that doesn't match the official reports." Kate raised her eyebrows curiously. "The official reports are mostly propaganda anyway. What do you want to know? Did we ever encounter large Zentari vessels before the Neptune Station attack, vessels that might have been carrying their young in stasis?" Kate frowned. "Why do you ask? Just answer the question, please." Liam pressed. "It's important." Kate looked around, making sure no one was within earshot. "Not according to any records I've seen. But there was something strange about a month before the war started. A deep space monitoring station picked up unusual energy signatures near the Horsehead Nebula. The signals matched no known vessel configurations, human or otherwise. Shortly after that, the station went silent. Officially, it was attributed to equipment failure. Liam felt a chill run down his spine. Those could have been the seed ships Nara mentioned. Kate crossed her arms. "Who is Nara? And how do you know about seed ships?" The alien woman am supposedly rewarded with, Liam explained. "She told me the Zentari attacked because they received evidence that humans had destroyed vessels carrying their future generations in stasis." Kate looked skeptical. "You're trusting the word of an enemy alien, she's a person," Kate, Liam said firmly, "and her story makes more sense than the official version. Something doesn't add up about how this war started." Their conversation was interrupted by the wail of sirens. Base security flashed red as soldiers ran to defensive positions. "Perimeter breach," Kate said, looking toward the commotion. "Probably another Zentari resistance attack." Liam hurried back to his quarters, finding Nara standing by the window. Her silver eyes reflected the flashing red lights as she watched the distant explosions. "They're blaming my people for this attack," she said without turning. "But those are not Zentari ships." Liam joined her at the window. "How can you tell?" "The engine configuration is wrong," she explained. "Those are Trisari vessels disguised to appear as ours." Liam felt a sinking feeling in his stomach. The Trisari Confederation, the supposed neutral third party that had mediated peace talks between humans and Zentari. "If you're right," Liam said, "the Trisari might have engineered this entire conflict." "Why would the Trisari want our peoples to destroy each other?" Nara asked, her silver eyes wide with concern. Liam thought quickly. Territory, resources, power. The Trisari Confederation expanded their influence significantly, while we were focused on killing each other. The attack intensified. Explosions rocked the military base. Liam made a quick decision, grabbing his emergency pack and weapon. "We need to get out of here," he told Nara. "If the Trisari are behind this, they won't want witnesses to their deception." Nara hesitated. "Can you trust me enough to escape together?" Liam looked at her directly. "I trust you more than I trust my own leadership right now. We need to find proof of what the Trisari have done. They slipped out during the chaos of the attack." Liam using his security clearance to access a small transport vessel designed for scouting missions. The craft was barely large enough for 2 people, but it had stealth capabilities that might allow them to escape undetected. Kate intercepted them at the hangar bay. "What are you doing, Liam?" she demanded, seeing the alien woman beside him, trying to find the truth. Kate, Liam explained quickly. "The Trisari are playing both sides. We need to find evidence before more people die." Kate looked conflicted. "You'll be labeled a deserter," maybe, Liam acknowledged, "but I'm still fighting for Earth, just not the way Command expects." Kate sighed heavily, then pulled a small data chip from her pocket. "I recorded unusual Trisari transmissions last month," she said. "Take this. It's encrypted but might help prove your theory." "Thank you," Liam said gratefully. "Be careful," Kate warned. "Trisari operatives have infiltrated both human and Zentari command structures As they prepared to board the vessel, Liam turned to Nara. "Can you pilot this ship?" Nara studied the controls. "The configuration is different from our vessels, but the principles are universal. I can navigate us to safety." They launched during the height of the attack, the base's defense systems too occupied. With the false Centauri assault to notice their small craft slipping away, Nara guided the ship with surprising skill, her fingers dancing across the unfamiliar human controls. "Where should we go?" Liam asked as they cleared the atmosphere. Nara was quiet. For a moment, "My former mentor, Elder Koros, may have survived the fall of our capital. He never trusted the Trizari. If anyone would help us, he would." The Zentari sanctuary was hidden inside a small moon orbiting the system's outer gas giant, Nara directed. Their approach carefully using specific signal patterns to avoid triggering defensive measures. Ancient rock formations had been hollowed out to create a vast network of chambers and tunnels. Soft bioluminescent light illuminated the interior spaces, casting everything in a gentle blue glow. Zentari guards surrounded their vessel as they landed. Their tall, slender forms, covered in protective armor, made them appear almost insectoid. Liam realized with discomfort how easy propaganda had made it. To dehumanize these beings, Nara spoke in her native language, the musical sounds echoing through the hangar. The guards lowered their weapons, but continued to watch Liam with obvious distrust. "Elder Koros will see us," Nara explained to Liam. "He remembers me from before the war." The Elder Zentari was ancient by human standards. His blue skin had faded to pale lavender, and the star patterns across his face were deeply etched. Unlike other Zentari, his eyes held visible pupils, tiny points of darkness. In the silver expanse, Nara, third daughter of House Vashir. The elder said in perfect English, "You return to us, in strange company. I bring important information." "Elder Koros," Nara replied, bowing deeply. "This human has shown me honor when others of his kind would not. He believes, as I do, that the Trisari manipulated our peoples into war." The elder studied Liam carefully. "You wear the uniform of those who destroyed our sacred temples, human. Why should I trust your words?" Liam met the elder's gaze directly. "I joined the military to protect Earth, but I've begun to question the truth of what we've been told. Both our peoples have suffered too much from this conflict. If the Trisari engineered our hatred, they must be held accountable." Koros gestured to a circular table where other Zentari elders waited. "Your theory is not new, human. Some among us have suspected Trisari involvement since the beginning, but suspicion is not proof." Liam produced Kate's data chip. "We believe this contains encrypted Trisari transmissions, possibly related to false flag operations." A Zentari technician took the chip, inserting it into their systems. The holographic display filled with complex code sequences. "These are command protocols," Elder, one of the technicians, said. "They appear to be instructions for disguising Trisari vessels as both human and Zentari ships." Another elder spoke from across the chamber. "Even if true, this proves nothing. The Trisari may have legitimate security concerns requiring such deceptions." Nara stepped forward. "The siege ships, Elder Koros. The ones destroyed before the war began. Did anyone actually see human markings on the attacking vessels? Or were we simply shown images by Trisari representatives?" The chamber grew silent as the implications settled over the gathering. "The Trisari ambassador Valak personally presented the evidence to our sovereign council," Koros admitted. His testimony swayed many who had advocated for peaceful first contact with humans. "We need to examine the original records," Liam suggested. "Do you still have access to the evidence the Trisari presented?" The elder nodded slowly. "They are stored in our central archives. Though the images show clear human military markings on the attacking ships, human markings can be falsified," Liam said. "Our Neptune station attack showed clear Zentari signatures, but what if neither of our peoples actually launched the first strike?" Elder Koros led them through the sanctuary to a secured chamber where historical records were maintained. The archive room was filled with crystalline data storage structures, each containing thousands of years of Zentari history and knowledge. The record of the seed ship destruction was easily located, the haunting images displayed in three-dimensional clarity. The attack appeared brutal and unprovoked. ships bearing Earth Alliance insignia firing upon large defenseless Centauri vessels. The seed ships broke apart in silent explosions, their precious cargo exposed to the vacuum of space. Liam studied the footage carefully. "Something isn't right," he said, pointing to the attacking ships. "The engine configuration is wrong. Earth vessels from that era used a distinctive 4-point propulsion system. These ships show a triple array. And look here," Nara added, indicating the weapon signatures. "The energy pattern doesn't match human technology. The discharge is too clean, too precise." Koros magnified the section. She indicated, "The weapon signature appears consistent with Trisari phase cannons." He admitted, but modified to produce radiation patterns similar to human armaments. They continued analyzing the footage, finding more discrepancies. The supposed human attackers maintained formations inconsistent with Earth military tactics. Their attack patterns showed knowledge of Centauri vessel vulnerabilities that humans could not have possessed during first contact. The evidence was circumstantial but compelling. "So we fought and died for 30 years because the Trisari wanted us to destroy each other," Liam said bitterly. But why? Nara wondered. What could they gain that was worth such manipulation? A younger Centauri entered the archive chamber, bowing to Elder Koros. "We have decoded more of the human data chip," he announced. "The Trisari have been systematically mining resources from both Centauri and human territories, while our forces were engaged elsewhere." Koros nodded grimly. "The ancient power source our scientists discovered before the war. The crystalline energy matrices that could revolutionize interstellar travel. The Trisari coveted this technology." Liam remembered Earth intelligence reports about mysterious mining operations in abandoned human colonies. The reports had been attributed to Centauri activity. But now, a different picture was emerging. "We need to take this evidence to Earth authorities," Liam said. "They need to know the truth before they continue the occupation of your worlds." Koros looked skeptical. "Your military leaders benefit from this conquest. Human, why would they accept evidence that undermines their victory?" "Because continuing this conflict only serves the Trisari," Liam argued. "We need to unite against the real enemy." Nara placed a hand on Liam's arm. "Even if we have proof, the Trisari governments have infiltrated both our command structures, as your friend warned. How do we know who to trust?" The sanctuary alarm suddenly blared to life. Red emergency lighting bathed the archive chamber. "Proximity alert," Elder Koros said, reading the security. "Display multiple vessels approaching Trisari configuration, but broadcasting Centauri identification codes. They know we're here." Liam realized, "They know what we've discovered. We need to evacuate," Elder Koros ordered. "The sanctuary defenses cannot withstand a direct Trisari assault." Liam turned to Nara. "We need to get this evidence to someone who can use it. Someone with enough influence to make both sides listen." Nara thought quickly. "There is one possibility," she said. "My eldest sister, Alara. She serves on the Provisional Council established after our surrender. Some of our people still listen to her voice." And on the human side, Liam added, "Commander Susan Reeves. She leads the diplomatic corps. She questioned the war from the beginning. If anyone would listen to us, it would be her." Elder Koros nodded grimly. "I will have the evidence data compressed and secured for transport. The rest of us will create a diversion to cover your escape." Liam protested. "You should come with us. The Trisari will show no mercy if they capture you." The elder placed a withered hand on Liam's shoulder. "For 30 years I believed humans were soulless monsters intent on our extinction. Today, I see honor in your eyes, Sergeant Carter. Perhaps there is hope for both our peoples yet, but some must stay to ensure others escape. This is my choice." The sanctuary shook as the first Trisari weapons found their mark. Centauri guards rushed to defensive positions while civilians evacuated deeper into the moon. A young Centauri technician handed Nara a small crystalline data core. "All the evidence is contained here," she explained, "including the decoded portions of your friend's data." Chip, Liam, and Nara hurried to their scout vessel. As they prepared for launch, Liam noticed several Centauri ships rising to engage the attackers, creating a gap in the Trisari formation. "That is our opening," Nara said as she powered up the engines. We must be swift. Then a small scout ship accelerated away from the moon using the larger battle as cover. Nara pushed the engines beyond their designed limits, the vessel shuddering under the strain. We need to reach the nearest neutral outpost, Liam said. The Europa Trading Station orbiting the gas giant in the next system. The Trisari influence there is minimal, Nara nodded, setting the course. The journey will take 14 hours at maximum speed, she said. We should alternate monitoring the sensors. They will pursue us. They traveled in tense silence for several hours. Liam took the first watch while Nara rested, though he suspected she was too anxious to truly sleep. Their small craft was not designed for extended journeys. The cramped cabin barely large enough. For 2 people. I never asked about your family. Liam said when Nara awoke. You mentioned a sister. Nara adjusted her position, her silver eyes reflecting the dim cabin lights. My family ruled one of the 13 great houses of Zentari, she explained. House Vashir was responsible for stellar navigation and exploration. My father led our first expeditions beyond our home system, where they killed in the war. Liam asked gently. Nara was quiet for a moment. My parents died in the initial human counterattack, after Neptune Station. Our ancestral home was located near a military installation. My younger siblings were evacuated to the inner colonies. I don't know if they survived. I'm sorry, Liam said sincerely. So much loss on both sides for a conflict. Neither of us started. Nara studied him curiously. Does your sympathy extend to all Zentari or only to me because you know? Liam considered her question honestly. At first it was just you, he admitted. But now I see how similar our peoples are. We were manipulated, because we fear what we don't understand. Proximity alarm interrupted their conversation. Nara quickly checked the sensor readings. 2 vessels approaching fast, she reported. They matched Trisari configurations. Can we outrun them? Liam asked. Nara shook her head. Not in this scout craft. Our only advantage is size. We might be able to hide. The nearby gas giant had a complex ring system composed of ice rocks and dust particles. The debris field would interfere with sensors, but navigation would be treacherous and take us in. Liam decided, better to risk the rings than face Trisari weapons. Nara guided their vessel into the swirling debris field. Her hands moved with remarkable precision, adjusting their course to avoid larger fragments. The pursuing ships followed, but their larger size made navigation more difficult. One of them is turning back, Liam observed, watching the sensor display. They are circling the perimeter, Nara explained. They will wait for us to emerge. A massive ice chunk loomed ahead. Nara rolled the ship sideways, slipping through a narrow gap. The maneuver brought them dangerously close to a dense cluster of rocky debris. The second pursuer is still following, Liam warned. Their weapons are charging. Nara dove deeper into the rings. The pursuing ship fired its forward cannons. The energy beams dissipated against the debris, but the discharge created a chain reaction. Smaller particles superheated and exploded, creating a wave of secondary impacts. Brace yourself, Nara called as she executed a tight turn. Their ship shuddered as small particles peppered the hull. Warning lights flashed across the control panel, minor hull breach in the aft section. Liam reported, automated systems are sealing it, but our fuel reserves are dropping. The pursuing ship closed the distance, firing again. This time the beam grazed their port stabilizer. The scout craft spun violently. Nara fought for control as they tumbled deeper into the rings. I need more power to the stabilizers, she called. Liam rerouted. Emergency power from life support systems. The cabin temperature immediately began to drop, but the ship steadied under Nara's control. The Trisari vessel pressed its advantage, closing for a killing shot. Suddenly a massive ring fragment rotated into its path. The larger ship attempted to evade, but the debris sheared off one of its propulsion nacelles. The damaged Trisari craft careened out of control, colliding with multiple ring fragments before exploding in a brilliant flash. We were lucky, Liam said. Not luck. Nara corrected, her voice quiet. I calculated the debris rotation pattern when we entered the rings. The Trisari pilot was too focused on pursuit to notice the larger movement of the ring section. Liam stared at her with newfound respect. You deliberately led them into that trap? Nara met his gaze. I was trained to navigate the most complex stellar phenomena before the war. This ring system is challenging but predictable. They continued through the rings, eventually emerging. On the far side, the remaining Trisari vessel was nowhere in sensor range, but their scout craft had sustained significant damage. Life support is functioning at 40%. Liam reported, the hull breach is contained, but our fuel reserves are critically low. We won't reach the Europa trading station. Nara studied the navigation charts. There is a small research outpost on the third moon of this gas giant. She said, it was abandoned early in the war, but might still have communication equipment and supplies. Their damaged vessel limped toward the small rocky moon. The landing was rough, the scout craft's remaining stabilizer failing in the final approach. They skidded across the moon's dusty surface, finally coming to rest near the abandoned outpost. The outpost consisted of a series of low domes connected by enclosed walkways. The structures were covered in lunar dust but appeared intact. Liam and Nara donned emergency breathing equipment before opening the damaged scout craft's hatch. The moon's thin atmosphere was insufficient to support life. They made their way to the main airlock. Liam used his military override codes to activate the emergency power systems. Ancient lights flickered to life, revealing a facility frozen in time. Equipment remained where it had been left. Food still sat on tables in the mess hall. Personal items were scattered throughout living quarters, evidence of a hasty evacuation. This was a joint research station, Nara observed, examining the equipment markings. Both human and Centauri scientists worked here before the war. Liam realized, studying a wall calendar. The date shown was 2 weeks before the Neptune station attack. They found the communications center. The equipment was outdated, but Liam managed to power up the primary systems. Can you boost the signal range? Nara asked. We need to reach both my sister and your commander. Reeves. Liam examined the communication array. There might be a way, he said. If we reconfigure the main dish to focus the transmission and use the outpost's emergency power reserves, we could send a tight beam communication. But it would drain everything. We would have one chance. Nara nodded. It is worth the attempt. As they worked to modify the communications array, Liam discovered a sealed storage room. The security lock was still active, requiring a high-level access code. Strange, Liam said. Most doors opened with basic emergency protocols. This one has additional security. Nara examined the door markings, Trisari symbols she identified. This section was under their control. Liam used Kate's decryption algorithms from the data chip to bypass the security. After several attempts, the door slid open, revealing a room filled with advanced monitoring equipment. This is a surveillance center. Liam realized the equipment is far more advanced than anything else in the outpost. Nara activated the main console. The system still had power independent from the outpost's main grid. The displays showed hundreds of recorded transmissions. These are communications between the Trisari High Command and their operatives, she said, scanning through the files. They were monitoring both our civilizations for years before the war. Liam found a file marked Neptune Station. The recording showed Trisari operatives discussing the planned attack in detail. They orchestrated everything, Liam said, his voice tight with anger. The attack on your seed ships, the Neptune Station massacre. All of it to ensure we would destroy each other. Liam and Nara worked tirelessly to prepare their transmission. The Trisari surveillance recordings provided irrefutable evidence of the deception that had led to 3 decades of devastating war. Their message needed to reach both Commander Reeves and Nara's sister Ilara simultaneously to prevent the Trisari from intercepting and blocking it. The outpost's communication system wasn't designed for such complex transmission patterns. Liam reconfigured the equipment while Nara calculated the precise timing needed to reach both receivers. If we direct the primary signal toward the 5th Lagrange point between our worlds, Nara explained, we can use the gravitational lens effect to split the beam. Each signal will arrive at its destination within seconds of the other. Where did you learn human communication technology? Liam asked, impressed by her knowledge. Nara adjusted the transmission array. The principles are similar to our own systems, she replied, and I observed our technicians reverse. Engineering captured human equipment during the war. I was to be a celestial navigator, remember? Calculating signal paths through space is a fundamental skill. As they finalized preparations, a proximity alert sounded. Liam checked the outpost's external sensors. 3 ships approaching, he reported. 2 Trisari cruisers and what appears to be a human military vessel. The Trisari must have alerted your forces that we're here, Nara said. They will claim we're conspirators. Or spies. Liam nodded grimly. We need to transmit now before they can stop us. The communication system required several minutes to build sufficient power for their enhanced transmission. The approaching vessels would arrive before the system was ready. I need to buy us time. Liam decided, grabbing his sidearm and emergency pack. You finish the preparations. It'll distract them. Nara caught his arm. You cannot fight 3 ships alone. I'm not planning to fight. Liam explained. I'll use the outpost defense turrets to disable their landing area. The systems are automated, but the targeting requires manual operation. It's not much, but it might delay them long enough. Nara looked concerned, then she surprised Liam by embracing him briefly. If we succeed, both our peoples will know the truth, Hank said. If we fail, at least we tried to end this conflict honorably. Liam made his way to the defense control room. The outpost weapons were minimal, designed for clearing space debris rather than military engagement, but the targeting systems were precise. He activated the primary turrets and waited for the ships to enter range. The human vessel approached first. Liam targeted the landing zone near the outpost, firing several bursts that created a field of debris and small craters. The ship veered away, seeking another approach. The Trisari vessels separated, one circling toward the outpost's rear entrance. Liam adjusted the targeting, focusing on the moon's surface near the secondary airlock. The turrets blasted the regolith, sending plumes of dust and rock into the atmosphere. The low-gravity environment caused the debris to hang suspended, creating a temporary visual barrier. The communication room signaled Liam. The transmission system was ready. Liam abandoned the defense controls and hurried back to join Nara. The approaching ships would land within minutes. Is the message ready? He asked. Nara nodded. Final encryption complete. She confirmed. The transmission will include everything. The evidence from Elder Koros. The data from your friend Kate and the Trisari surveillance records. I've set it to transmit on all emergency frequencies. With override protocols, Liam took a deep breath. Then let's tell the galaxy the truth. They activated the transmission. The outpost's power reserves channeled into the communications array. The lights throughout the facility dimmed as energy was diverted to the powerful signal. The main display showed the transmission progress indicator slowly advancing. The entire outpost shuddered as something impacted the surface nearby their landing. Liam said, checking the external sensors. Both Trisari vessels are deploying ground forces. The human ship is holding position in orbit. The transmission reached 70% completion. Warning alerts flashed. As the outpost's primary power reserves approached critical levels, the system was drawing more energy than anticipated. We're losing power, Nara warned. The transmission will fail. Before completion, Liam examined the system diagnostics. There must be something we can reroute. Nara pointed to a separate control panel. The emergency life support and environmental systems, she suggested. We won't survive long without them, but the transmission will complete. Liam hesitated only briefly before redirecting the remaining life support power. The temperature in the facility immediately began to drop, and warning lights indicated oxygen levels would become critical within 30 minutes. The transmission progress increased to 80%, then 90%. Multiple impacts shook the facility as Trisari forces attempted to breach the outer doors. They know what we're doing, Liam said. We need to barricade the communications room. They sealed the internal doors using equipment to block the entrances. Outside, they could hear the Trisari forces cutting through the outpost's outer hull. The transmission reached 95%. A new alert appeared on the console. Incoming transmission from the human vessel. Liam activated the receiver. Sergeant Carter, this is Captain Diane Riley of the Earth Alliance vessel Hyperion. The transmission came through clearly. Please respond. Liam exchanged a glance with Nara before answering. This is Sergeant Liam Carter. Captain Im with a Zentari civilian. We have evidence that the Trisari Confederation engineered the war between our species. There was a pause before Riley responded. We know, Sergeant, your friend Lieutenant Morgan uncovered Trisari communication protocols that revealed their deception. She managed to contact Commander Reeves before the Trisari operatives silenced her. Liam felt a wave of grief. Kate had given her life to expose the truth. The Trisari realized their deception was discovered. Captain Riley continued. They launched simultaneous attacks against both Earth and Zentari leadership, claiming terrorists had seized control. We're here to extract you before they can eliminate the evidence. The transmission progress reached 100%. Complete, Nara announced. Our message has been sent. The facility rocked with another explosion. The Trisari forces were getting closer. Captain Riley spoke urgently. We've detected Trisari forces breaching the facility. We cannot dock while they're present. You need to reach the North Emergency Airlock. We will extract you there. Liam checked the outpost schematics. The North Airlock was on the opposite side of the facility from the Trisari entry points, but they would have to cross open sections to reach it. We need to move now, he told Nara. The life support systems are failing anyway. They gathered the critical data cores and abandoned the communications room. The facility's temperature had dropped dangerously low, and ice was forming on interior surfaces. They could see their breath in the increasingly thin air. They navigated through darkened corridors using Liam's tactical light for illumination. The sounds of Trisari forces echoed through the facility, getting closer with each minute. They reached a junction where they would need to cross an open research area to continue toward the North Airlock. Liam peered around the corner, spotting 4 Trisari soldiers in the research lab. They wore full combat armor with integrated weapon systems far more advanced than standard military equipment. We can't go through there, Liam whispered. Is there another route? Nara examined the facility schematic. The ventilation system, she suggested. It connects all sections of the outpost. They located a maintenance panel and removed it, revealing a narrow passage. Liam went first, using his elbows to pull himself through the tight space. Nara followed, closing the panel behind them. The metal ductwork creaked under their weight, but held as they slowly made their way toward the north section. The ventilation shaft emerged near the emergency airlock. Liam carefully removed the exit panel and scanned the area. No Trisari soldiers were visible, but he could hear them searching nearby. Captain Riley. This is Carter. Liam transmitted. We're near the North Airlock. Stand by, Sergeant, the captain replied. We're approaching your position now. Through the airlock's small viewport, they could see the Hyperion maneuvering for docking. The sleek Earth vessel was significantly larger than their damaged scout craft, its military design obvious despite diplomatic markings. The airlock indicators suddenly flashed red. The Trisari had discovered their location. They're overriding the airlock controls, Nara warned. If they lock it down, we won't be able to open it. Liam examined the manual release that would trigger an explosive decompression, but maybe a new plan formed in his mind. If they could time it perfectly, the decompression would throw the Trisari soldiers back while allowing them to leap toward the Hyperion's rescue team. It's risky, he told Nara. If we're not secured when the airlock opens, the decompression could throw us into space. Nara found emergency tether cables in a nearby storage locker. We can anchor ourselves to the inner frame, she suggested, if we coordinate with your captain. Riley, this is Carter, Liam transmitted. We have a situation. We're going to attempt an emergency decompression extraction on my mark. Can you position for immediate retrieval? Understood, Sergeant Riley, replied Weave. Deployed the rescue team in vacuum suits. Stand by. Liam and Nara secured their tethers to the airlock frame and donned emergency breathing masks. The thin oxygen supply would give them only minutes, but it should be enough. The Trisari forces were getting closer now. They could hear them in the adjacent corridor. The Hyperion accelerated away from the moon as Trisari reinforcements arrived. Captain Riley ordered maximum speed, knowing they needed to reach Earth-controlled space before they were intercepted. Liam and Nara were taken to the medical bay where the ship's doctor examined them for injuries. Your core temperature is below normal, the doctor told them. But otherwise you both appear unharmed. Captain, Riley joined them in the medical bay. Her uniform bore the diplomatic corps insignia alongside her military rank. She was older than Liam had expected, her short gray hair and weathered face suggesting decades of service. "Your transmission got through, Sergeant." She informed them Commander Reeves received it simultaneously with the Zentari Provisional Council. The Trisari ambassadors were present at both meetings. They attempted to dismiss the evidence, but the surveillance recordings were quite damning. "What happens now?" Liam asked. The captain gestured to a nearby display showing news broadcasts. From Earth, military vessels were being redirected. Diplomatic channels had erupted with activity. "The truth is spreading," Riley explained. "The occupation forces on the Zentari homeworld have suspended operations. The Earth Alliance Security Council is in emergency session reviewing the evidence." Nara leaned forward. "Have you received any news of my sister?" Alara. Riley nodded. She was instrumental in convincing the Zentari Provisional Council to examine the evidence. Before the Trisari could intervene, she ordered the recordings broadcast throughout the remaining Zentari territories. A communications officer entered the medical bay. "Captain, we have an incoming transmission from Earth Alliance Command. Highest priority." Riley led them to the bridge. The main view screen activated, showing Commander Susan Reeves. Her stern features were recognizable from countless military briefings during the war. "Captain Riley." The commander greeted them formally, then her expression softened slightly. "Sergeant Carter, your actions have revealed a deception that has cost millions of lives. The President has ordered all military operations against the Zentari people suspended, pending full investigation." Liam felt a wave of relief. "Thank you, Commander. But what about the Trisari? They won't simply allow their deception to be exposed." Reeves' expression darkened. "You're correct. The Trisari Confederation has recalled their ambassadors and closed their borders. Their fleet is mobilizing. We believe they may attempt a preemptive strike against both Earth and Zentari targets before we can unite against them." Another transmission came through, this one from the Zentari Provisional Council. Nara's sister Ilara appeared on a split screen beside Commander Reeves. The family resemblance was striking, though. Ilara appeared older, her silver eyes marked with tiny dark flecks indicating her higher social standing. Sister Ilara said with obvious emotion, "You are alive." Nara bowed her head slightly. "I am, and I bring the truth about those who divided our peoples." Ilara turned to address both Commander Reeves and Captain Riley. "The Zentari Sovereign Council has reviewed the evidence. Our military forces stand ready to defend against Trisari aggression. But after 30 years of war, our fleet is significantly reduced. We face the same challenge," Commander Reeves acknowledged. "The Earth Alliance Navy is stretched thin, occupying Zentari territories. If we withdraw to defend Earth, the Trisari could seize those worlds." Captain Riley spoke up. "Commander, perhaps this situation requires a different approach. For 3 decades, our peoples fought because we were manipulated into believing the worst about each other. Now we face a common enemy." Liam understood the implication. "A joint defense," he suggested, "both human and Zentari forces working together." Ilara considered this. The coordination would be challenging. "Our military protocols and communication systems are not compatible. But we have people who understand both," Nara said. "Those like myself who have lived among humans, and humans like Sergeant Carter who have learned about our people." Commander Reeves nodded slowly. "A combined fleet could defend both our homeworlds while we develop a long-term strategy against the Trisari." She turned to Ilara. "I propose an immediate cessation of hostilities between our peoples and the formation of a joint defense command." Ilara conferred briefly with other council members before responding. "The Zentari Provisional Council accepts your proposal, Commander. As a gesture of good faith, we will share our advanced shield technology with your vessels. This may help offset our numerical disadvantage against the Trisari fleet." Captain Riley looked to Liam and Nara. "The Hyperion will serve as the first joint command vessel," she announced. "I need both of you to help integrate our forces. Your unique perspective will be invaluable." The following days passed in a blur of activity. The Hyperion rendezvoused with a Zentari cruiser to take on technical specialists. Earth Alliance engineers worked alongside Zentari technicians to integrate their defense systems. Liam and Nara served as cultural interpreters, helping bridge the gap between peoples who had known only hatred for 30 years. Not everyone embraced the sudden alliance. Some human crew members openly distrusted the Zentari technicians. Several Zentari refused to speak directly to their human counterparts. The decades of propaganda and loss could not be erased overnight. But necessity drove them forward. The intelligence reports grew increasingly concerning. The Trisari fleet had assembled near the borders of both Earth and Zentari space. Their vessels outnumbered the combined human and Zentari forces by a significant margin. Captain Riley called a strategy meeting in the Hyperion's command center. The senior officers from both species gathered around the holographic tactical display. The Trisari hold one significant advantage, Riley explained. Their fleet is unified under a single command structure. Ours is cobbled together from former enemies. We need to turn our diversity into strength. A Zentari tactical officer spoke up. Our vessels are more maneuverable but have weaker offensive capabilities. Your Earth ships have superior firepower but less advanced defensive systems. Together we might balance these differences. Liam studied the display, noticing a pattern in the Trisari fleet movements. They expect us to defend our home systems, he observed. That would divide our forces, allowing them to defeat each separately. Nara pointed to a sector between the two territories. What if we positioned our combined fleet here? She suggested the Hades Nebula would mask our energy signatures until the Trisari forces commit to their attack. Vector Captain Riley considered the proposal. It would require perfect timing, she noted, and absolute trust between our forces. Commander Reeves joined the discussion via holographic projection. Our intelligence suggests the Trisari will launch their offensive within 48 hours. Their primary targets appear to be Earth and the Zentari homeworld. If we can surprise them with a united front, we might force them to reconsider Alara. Agreed. Our remaining seed ships have been moved to secure locations deep within the nebula. If we fail, they represent the future of our species. They must be protected at all costs. The combined fleet assembled at the edge of the Hades Nebula. Dozens of vessels from both civilizations formed an unprecedented alliance. The flagship commanders gathered aboard the Hyperion for final coordination. Captain Riley presided over the meeting with Liam and Nara, providing technical and cultural translations. The plan was daring. The combined fleet would remain hidden within the nebula's radiation fields as the Trisari forces advanced. When the enemy fleet divided to attack the human and Zentari homeworlds, the Allied forces would emerge to strike at the Trisari command vessels. The nebula's intense radiation fields would disrupt communications once the battle began. Each ship would need to operate according to predetermined protocols with minimal central coordination. As the commanders returned to their vessels, Liam found Nara on the Hyperion's observation deck. She stood silently watching the nebula's swirling colors. What will happen after this battle? Nara asked quietly. If we survive, will our peoples return to war? Liam joined her at the viewport. Too much has changed, he said. The truth is known now. The hatred was based on lies, but the losses were real, Nara replied. My family, your comrades, millions dead on both sides. That pain doesn't vanish with the revelation of Trisari. Deception, Liam nodded, understanding her concern. But we have a choice now. We can allow that pain to drive us apart, or we can use it to ensure nothing like this happens again. Captain Riley's voice came over the communication system. All hands to battle stations, Trisari. Fleet detected on approach vector. The Hyperion moved deeper into the nebula, its advanced sensors tracking the approaching enemy fleet. The radiation interference increased, making communication between vessels increasingly difficult. Liam joined the bridge crew while Nara coordinated with the Zentari vessels. The Trisari fleet appeared confident, their vessels advancing in perfect formation toward the human and Zentari systems. They showed no indication they suspected the trap awaiting them, Captain. Riley monitored the enemy movements. They've divided their forces as we predicted, she noted, 2 battle groups moving toward Earth and the Zentari homeworld. The radiation levels spiked as the nebula released a massive energy burst, a natural phenomenon. The Zentari navigators had anticipated the sensors temporarily overloaded, then cleared, showing the Trisari command vessel now separated from its escorts. Now, Riley ordered.